The detective genre in film is a genre that teases audiences by forcing them to ask questions from the very beginning of each movie up until the end when a case has finally been resolved. Questions like what happened and who done it. These are questions that keep us glued to our seats until each and every one of them has been answered. People love being given answers, but it's the prelude to those answers that makes detective genres so interesting and entertaining to watch. In particular, character dialogue in detective films is a crucial ingredient that helps to gradually move each narrative along smoothly and is crucial in building up the suspense and curiosity necessary to simply enjoy them. And so, with that being said, let's dive a little bit into a few classics of the detective genre that really stand out in the history of film. There are three films in particular that use character dialogue together with certain cinematography techniques in order to create successful and unique narratives. We have The Maltese Falcon from 1941, Rear Window from 1954, and Murder on the Orient Express from 1974. So, to start off with the first movie, the main character of The Maltese Falcon is a detective by the name of Sam Spade who uses his skills as a sleuth in order to extract the authenticity of events in the film. That is, how he uses literary elements such as plot and storytelling in order to piece together different truths and lies that people tell him. So as we can see, dialogue plays a huge role in this movie, as it is the only way that Sam can piece together something out of nothing. But what makes this movie really special is the way that the camera follows each character from below when they seem to have an upper advantage in a situation. Whether it's Sam who has the upper hand in dialogue or another character, the low camera angles always let us know the person that is dominating a conversation at any given time, which is significant for the way it adds layers and layers of both doubt and certainty at any given time, and just as quickly flips around whenever new information is presented in the storyline. Moving on to the next movie, Rear Window was a movie released in 1954 and directed by one of the most famous film producers in history, Alfred Hitchcock. In this movie, our main character is a photographer named Jeff, who is recovering from a broken leg and uses his free time to watch his neighbors from his apartment, only to find out that one of them has committed murder. In this movie, of course, dialogue plays a huge role as well as in any detective movie, but in this movie, the main character is restricted to only being inside his apartment, so we as audience members can only see what he sees. And because of this limited perspective, we are often led to question the validity of Jeff's many theories and conclusions. Did his neighbor actually commit murder, or is Jeff simply fabricating a tall tale? So with this movie, the restriction of the camera to Jeff's point of view and to his apartment is an important part of the cinematography that makes this movie so entertaining to watch. And lastly, we have Murder on the Orient Express from 1974, which is based off of famous writer Agatha Christie's novel of the same name from 1934. This movie has been categorized as a civilized film, one in which there's a minimum of violence, an absence of explicit sex, and it is an urban film in which the only major question of importance is who done it. On the topic of dialogue, however, the notion that too much dialogue in detective films may cause audiences to lose interest in the narrative has also been a huge topic of debate. Despite the amount of dialogue in Orient Express, there's one significant factor from the film that captivated audiences' attention when it was first released, and that was the actors themselves who were involved in the movie. Every member of the cast, down to the least important, is a recognizable face, and the audience is thus expected to be entertained not only because of the plot, but because these actors are acting out the plot. Actors from the movie included Sean Connery and Anthony Perkins. So even though the murder in the story had already taken place, and the plot was simply a reenactment of the murder, the influence of specific actors from already seen movies was what made Orient Express so successful as a film adaptation. Overall, I really enjoyed watching these detective films, and I would recommend them to anyone who is interested in the genre. These films are not only a form of pastime, but they really do show just how much film has evolved over the years, with The Maltese Falcon that was released in 1941, and The Murder on Orient Express that was released in 1974, over 30 years later. The genre will keep evolving as the years go by, and it will continue to surprise us with each of its unique stories and mysteries.